there's a majority of Americans that no doubt support supplying Ukraine with arms. However, the public, Senator, is divided on whether Washington should urge Ukraine to settle for peace as soon as possible, according to a new poll. Just wondering what your thoughts on that.
You know, Jose, I saw that poll. I mean, I've been really gratified by the strong support of a bipartisan supermajority in both houses of Congress for supporting Ukraine. And as I travel around Virginia, and as you know, we're a very military state with so many installations, the support for Ukraine is very strong. Our attitude has been, you know, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. They need to set the terms for peace, and they need to be at the table exploring ways to bring this war to an end for humanitarian purposes. But remember, this war is not equally on both parties. Russia has staged an illegal invasion, violating all the norms of international law, and so it's not like Ukraine is the party that's got to build the bridge to peace here. This is really more on Russia, and we will more likely get Russia to a place where they will do the right thing if we keep providing very, very strong and unwavering support for Ukraine's ability to defend itself. That's what we would want if we were under attack. We would want our allied nations to support our right to defend ourselves, and that's what we need to. That's where we need to be with Ukraine.
And, Senator, turning to another crisis, you and your colleagues just introduced bipartisan legislation to support human rights in Venezuela. What does that mean, Senator?
So, Jose, as you know, there is a UN fact-finding mission in Venezuela that has done a really good job under tough circumstances of documenting human rights abuses by the Maduro regime. That mission is set to expire. These missions are set up with, you know, a time frame. And what the main focus of this bill that I've introduced is bipartisan is get the U.S. to exercise leadership at the United Nations to continue the UN mission so that we can continue to document and hopefully by documenting reduce human rights abuses. This is going hand in hand with the resumption of talks between the Maduro regime and opposition leaders in Mexico City to find a path forward. Those talks have led to at least one positive so far, which is a UN humanitarian fund that can be used, administered by the UN, and used to help people facing dire consequences, lack of access to medicines and vaccines, hunger, disease outbreaks. So there is some, after a long period of really no progress in these negotiations, there's some forward movement, but we don't want to take the pressure off of this spotlight that the UN has had on human rights abuses. We need to keep that pressure front and center.
And meanwhile, Senators Sinema and Tillis have proposed a path to citizenship for Dreamers in exchange for $25 billion for border security and an extension of Title 42. What's your take on that proposal, Senator?
Well, I have not seen the details. My first thought when I read about it was deja vu all over again. You might remember in February of 2018, we had a bipartisan proposal on the table that got a vote. We had 8 Republican co-sponsors and 8 Democratic co-sponsors. I was key to negotiating it, and it was protection for Dreamers in exchange for $25 billion of border security over 10 years, not building the wall, but using that money to do security the right way. We had a bipartisan agreement. We also had President Trump saying, you put a bipartisan agreement on my desk and I'll sign it. Within a day after announcing the deal, he and the White House chose to blow the deal up. I don't know how different the Tillis-Sinema proposal is to what we had before. I'm not sure that it is as expansive in protecting Dreamers. And it also includes the whole Title 42 question, which was not an issue in February of 2018. So the devil's in the details. We have to take a look. I'm always glad when there's a discussion about can we find a path for Dreamers, and we'll see if this is one that has the right elements to it.